Hello and welcome to MetroArts. I'm your host, Shayna Fields-Clark, and right here on MetroArts, we highlight some of the best in the business, from fine artists, photographers, performing artists, cinematographers, as well as musical artists, all from the Metro Detroit area. On today's show, we have actor, dancer, and choreographer Carollette Phillips, wood carver and printmaker Guy Budziak, the founder of Beehive Company, Steve Nawara, and recording artist, singer Laura Finlay. MetroArts will now like to welcome actor, dancer, and choreographer Carollette Phillips. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm great, thanks.
Great for you to join us here today.
Yes, very glad to be here.
Okay, so Carollette, you're currently working on a master's degree in fine arts.
Yes.
And it's theater.
Yes.
But you got your career starting in broadcast journalism.
Yes.
That's how young you know.
Great.
And can you tell us how you made your transaction from doing broadcast journalism to the stage?
Sure. I attended Miami University of Ohio, go Redhawks.
Okay.
And I was in television production and broadcast journalism. The reason why I wanted to go to college for that is because as a child growing up here in Detroit, I always watched Channel 4. And I figured that by the time Carmen Harlan was ready to retire, I would be primed to replace her. So I used to always, write little stories and make articles. And when I was 12, I actually had the opportunity to co-host the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Okay.
With, at the time, it was Mort Krim, Carmen Harlan, and Chuck Gatica. And it was like a fascinating experience, one of the best things that ever happened to me, and I just knew I wanted to be a news reporter. So when I went to college, I had a few different internships and got some really great experience, but I kind of started to realize the more that I was working that I missed performing. When I graduated, I actually worked at the Detroit Free Press for a couple months. And nothing against the Detroit Free Press. It's a great paper, but for me, being in a cubicle all day at a computer was really, really difficult.
You had to get out there,
yes,
show your talent.
Yes, I had to get out there. And even when I lived in New York, I was a production assistant. I worked at Saturday Night Live. I worked at Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Wow. And I was constantly surrounded by actors. Every day there was someone coming on this show. One day it would be Harrison Ford, or the next day it might be Nia Long or Matthew McConaughey. Just every day, all of these actors coming in, and I was like, I really miss performing. I have to get back on the stage, and it was impossible to do both at the time. So that's what really prompted me to go back to pursue my master's and really hone my craft as an actor and kind of return to the stage as a performing artist.
Okay, so did you do theater work before actually going to college to focus on broadcast journalism?
Yes. Growing up, my parents always kept my sister and I heavily involved in the arts. I began dancing at age 3. Tap is my specialty, but tap, jazz, ballet, modern, hip-hop, everything. And I started off in theater at St. Mary's of Retford Elementary School, always, doing plays. And I had a teacher that encouraged me to audition for Mosaic Youth Theater of Detroit. So I joined Mosaic when I was about 13, and that really opened my eyes to acting and to the craft of theater. I had the opportunity to perform in and around the Metro Detroit area, and in 1996 I actually got to attend a World Theater Festival in Copenhagen, Denmark, which was awesome, to meet other people from all around the world who all shared the universal language of theater. Was great. I had the opportunity to perform at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., and just performing all over the place, and continuing in college. I also performed with the theater department when I could, and it was just, the more I performed, the more I realized how much I loved it.
Okay, that's great. And you brought a couple of video clips to show us. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Sure.
It's one actually from Shakespeare.
Yes. I'm working on my master's over at Wayne State, as we mentioned, and I'm in the Hillberry repertory program. So this is actually a clip with one of my fellow classmates and I. His name is Edmund Jones, and this is a scene from Richard III by the wonderful Mr. William Shakespeare.
Fouler than heart can think thee. Thou canst make no excuse current but to hang thyself. By such despair I should accuse myself.
And by despairing shalt thou stand excused for doing worthy vengeance on thyself that didst unworthy slaughter upon others.
Say I slew them not.
Then say they were not slain, but dead they are and devilish slave by thee.
Tis a quarrel most unnatural to be revenged on him that loveth thee.
'Tis a quarrel just and reasonable to be revenged on him that killed my husband.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
'Tis better doth not breathe upon the
He
earth.
lives that loves thee better than he could.
Name him.
Plantagenet.
Why, that was he.
You're the one of self-same name, but one of better nature.
Where is he?
Here. Why dost thou spit at me?
Would it were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from such a sweet place.
Never hung poison on a fouler toad. Out of my sight, thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine.
Okay, and then the second original project.
Yes, this is a project that I'm working on. As a part of my master's program, we have to do playwriting. And I'm working on actually a film script because when we started, writing, I was like, wow, I really love this. So this is a movie trailer for a film about a dancer who is struggling with an injury amongst other things and kind of trying to prepare herself physically and mentally for a big challenge that she's going to have to face.
Okay.
The tendonitis in your knee isn't going to heal itself.
You should get a real job.
Shuffleboard change and all that, right?
One kind of dance that makes money, honey.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
So, Carollette, what kind of upcoming projects do you have?
Well, I will be appearing in Hairspray at the Bonstell Theater.
Okay.
Also, I have a play that's being produced at the Hillberry in the Studio Theater this spring. It's called Poinsettia Blues. I'm choreographing for Mosaic Youth Theater of Detroit, as well as for the Rosedale Park Players and the Cotillion Society of Detroit. And my family-owned business, Lachelle School of Dance, is producing our 8th annual dance recital this summer at Music Hall. So we're excited about that.
Wow, that's awesome. How did you get to come into a family business, actually?
Well, my sister and I grew up dancing, and our favorite game to play used to be dance recital. And we always imagined that we would have one when we grew up. And one day we grew up, and my sister said, hey, we should revisit that idea. And we actually did, and we're located in Oak Park now. We have about 200 students, and we do all genres of dance. So it's really exciting.
That's awesome. A lot of things on your list.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Carollette, for joining us here on Metro Arts today. Okay. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining in to see Metro Arts, to see Carollette, and hear about her wonderful career.
Hello, I'm Deborah, and you're watching Metro Arts on Detroit Public Television.
Metro Arts would now like to welcome our next guest, Guy Budziak. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's a pleasure. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you do.
Okay. When I studied here at Wayne State University, my background was in fine arts. Initially, I chose painting, and the degree that I pursued was in painting. Got a studio in '88, lived there for 10 years, and during that time, that's pretty much what I did. But when I moved back into the neighborhood here in the Wayne State area, I decided to do woodcuts, which are like block prints, okay, images carved into wood, and inked blocks that are inked up, and then are transferred onto paper. Okay, it's a very low-tech sort of thing. This is an inspiration. This is an influence and inspiration from classic film noir. Okay, black and white films. The woodcut itself goes back a few centuries. However, there was a major art movement in the early 1900s, German Expressionism, where there was a primary focus on woodcuts, and a lot of the people who created the films in film noir came from Germany, came from a German Expressionist background, were fleeing the Nazis, came to America. A lot of the classic film noir was made by these German refugees. Okay, people like Fritz Lang and Billy Wilder, okay, as two pretty notable influences. So that pretty much tells it in terms of like the initial background, okay?
Okay.
So I did well with the first print. I decided to continue on. I decided to commit myself to making the body of work that I now have on the website that I now have, okay, with my name attached. And it's called Film Noir Woodcuts.
So what made you want to go from painting to actually doing woodcuts?
When you make art, a lot of times for a lot of artists, it's hard to find a particular niche or a particular focus. I couldn't find that when I was painting, but the passion that I had for black and white film, I was able to transfer that over to the black and white medium of woodcut prints.
Okay. And Guy, you actually brought a couple of pieces to show us today.
Yes, I did. Yeah, the piece we have next to me on the easel, to my right, is from a classic French film. The title Le Samouraï, and it was released in 1968 by it was by director Jean-Pierre Melville. Melville was a big fan of classic film noir, American film noir, and it shows in his films. I brought this print to showcase only because it is my most popular print worldwide.
How long did it take you to make that?
It takes 2 to 4 weeks. It's pretty labor intensive. Sometimes it takes less time, sometimes it takes more, depending on the amount of detail involved in the piece itself.
Okay.
Okay?
And you have some books?
I have a book, this book, which was released about 2 years ago, written by Jeanette Vincent-Doe. Jeanette Vincent-Doe is professor of film studies at King's College in London. She bought this print from me, and not long thereafter asked if she could use it for the cover of the third edition, her first French edition of the book. The previous 2 editions were in English. And
then you have something else?
I have, and the other book in my hand is a souvenir program. Every year in San Francisco they have what's called the Film Noir, Classic Film Noir Film Festival. End of January, beginning of February. Last year they asked if I would advertise with them. So I bought a full-page ad. It looks kind of like this, okay,
Oh,
which is
wow,
also
awesome.
Which is also my business card as well. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
So your business card and a book. So I mean, this is completely original, like work that you do. How do you get your inspiration?
The love of film, okay, has a lot to do with it. Someone close to me said back in 1999, as much as you love these films, why don't you somehow roll that over into the making of art? And on her suggestion, I did that very thing. I liked the first one that I did, which was a Mitchum film called Out of the Past. That got a lot of positive response. And so I just decided to commit myself to it and continue on from there.
Okay. 2 things. How do people kind of respond to your work, and what can we look for in the future from you?
Okay. It's difficult for me to say exactly how people respond to my work. I mean, I've got a lot of positive response. A lot of positive response comes from film noir enthusiasts as opposed to maybe artists themselves. I have a website, and I've had it up online since 2007. And I know that during the course of that time, it's gotten a lot of attention worldwide.
Okay.
I look forward to the day when it's financially successful as well.
Okay, well, we are happy to have you here on MetroArts to display your creative work. Thank you so much, Guy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And thank you guys for tuning in to see Guy.
I'm Monica Blair, and you're watching MetroArts, a hot new show on Detroit Public Television.
MetroArts will now like to welcome the founder of Beehive Recording Company, Steve Nawara, and singer Laura Finlay. Thank you for joining us here today on MetroArts.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. So, Stephen, we're going to start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about what is Beehive and how is it different from any other label?
Beehive Recording Company is a unique recording company because we give our music away for free. We exclusively record the music of Detroit, Michigan, the musicians here in the city. And we put out a single, about 2 singles every month, sometimes 3. We accept singles from, that were recorded in the past, from the 60s and 70s. But we try to keep things very current as well. We also record the bands for free. Because of digital technology, we're able to do this. You don't have to worry about tape and storage and all that. So, and we give everything away to our audience for free as well. And there's a top 10, so you get to see the music being downloaded in real time, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, we like hearing great artists and for free,
Of course,
definitely.
Especially in this day and age.
Exactly. So what made you want to start the studio?
Well, I love Detroit music. I think that Detroit is the music capital of the world, is what I really believe strongly. And we've created multiple genres of music, which no other city in the world can claim that. And from jazz, Motown, from Fortune Records to we have the superstars as well, like Madonna and Bob Seger, Kid Rock, and White Stripes, and all that. And just the local music alone is just, to me, the most diverse music there is in the face of the planet. From everything, from Laura Finlay, of course, and to punk rock bands like the Growing Pains or something like that. So we're not genre specific. We like to record every type of thing, anything we get our hands on, pretty much.
That's great. That's excellent. So, are there any producers who have influenced you?
I'm definitely a big fan of 1950s and 60s recording. There's an engineer named Tom Dowd who mixes things, just manually. It's like a performance.
Okay.
So that inspires me a lot. We try to use a lot of room recordings, like Motown, where they'd have right now in modern technology, recording technology, they isolate musicians in booths, and I don't understand that. I don't. To me, it's like you lose the feeling and the energy, So what I like to do is have everyone in the same room, have microphones set up, let them bleed from the different the amplifiers, generate a big sound and capture the energy. That's what we try to do.
That's very different and unique. So have you established any Detroit artists?
Well, all of them. As of right now, we have about 40 artists on Beehive. This is just in the past year and a half. We've recorded over 40 singles. We've had over 10,000 downloads on the site. Various media. We have a lot of national media attention as well. And so we just try to help out as much as we can.
And what about outside of Detroit?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Do you look forward to expanding, or are you just focused on Detroit artists?
Well, as of right now, we want to get the ball rolling in Detroit.
Okay.
And eventually, I have been talking with people in Stockholm, Sweden. I think we're going to open up a Beehive over there. New Orleans is a big inspiration for me. Down there, it's just all small business, local business. And of course, the music down there is just phenomenal. And so New Orleans and Detroit to me is like, definitely where my heart's at. And also Memphis as well, anywhere where there's lots of music and I guess kind of impoverished settings, then music seems to be better there for some reason. I don't know why. Okay.
So you still make like classic album covers, like in the 80s and stuff like that, but you digitally like put the music on the computer. Yeah. Why is that?
Well, it's because I'm a vinyl collector. I love records, and a lot of people give me some gruff for not putting out vinyl because Detroit's a very record-friendly, vinyl-friendly town. But so to me, it's a way of kind of capturing the music, because it's fun to listen to a record and look at it and read it and experience the artwork as well. And I think that's important. And so to me, for every single we put out, we have an A-side and a B-side cover as well. And I typically do most of the artwork myself, but a lot of different local artists like Emma Rose, Kara Meister, have been helping out and contributing. So it's also helping fine arts as well as just performing arts as well.
So there are physical releases that are actually put out, or no?
Not yet. Erin Ruth, we put out a 45 of hers. We'd like to do vinyl, but unfortunately it's so expensive right now, and I think that's people are unrealistic.
I have to rewind. You put out a 45? Mm-hmm. Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
still being made.
Archer Record Plant right down Davison. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So when did you start, and how many bands would you say you've had in the studio?
A lot. Well, definitely. 40. We put out 40 singles, but
Okay.
there's been various, more than that. I would definitely say that.
Okay. And last question, what can we look for next?
Well, Laura's sister Tamara Finlay is putting out a single.
Okay.
And we're booked pretty much for the entire year. So you're gonna be every week. It's a good time to check out Beehive and listen to the new music. You're not gonna love everything. It's diverse. You're not supposed to like everything. Hopefully you do, but I would don't expect it. And that's what diversity is about. It's differences and beautiful differences. But strongly believe them.
Absolutely. And Laura, you're one of the recording artists at Beehive. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Well, I was living in New York for a while, and I decided I wanted to come home to make music because I knew so many musicians here, and it was just a much more friendly atmosphere. I didn't have to pay everyone for their services for studio time and to even help me write the music. Because all I had were lyrics and melody. So I come home, and I'm at a party, and I saw Steve there, and I was like, oh, hey, that's the guy that does this thing. And so I cornered him, and I was like, hey, I have these songs, and I don't know what to do with them, and I need help to finish writing them. He's like, okay, well, just send me a demo. And I was like, I don't have the means to do it right now. I don't play anything well enough to accompany myself, so can you just sit here for a second? So I sang him a couple songs, and he was just like, okay, you're next. I'll throw together a band for you, and you will show up, and we will learn your music for you and produce a single. And that was the first taste I got.
Awesome, awesome. We're going to get a chance to actually hear the single a little later on in the show, actually. Okay, so you grew up in a musical household.
I did.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I know you say your sister, so is the mom and dad musical too?
All of us. My parents actually met studying music. They had the same vocal coach, and they were set up to do a duet together. And
it's a nice way to meet someone, actually.
Yeah, my father is he's a former professional opera singer and vocal coach and instructor, and he actually does teach part-time at Wayne State and giving voice lessons at home as well. And my mom just kind of did it on the side, things for herself. She didn't really pursue it. But my sister and I, both within the last few years, she started a band with our cousin, and then that kind of sparked the interest for me to come back and do the same, because I was like, well, that's not fair. She can't go ahead. So,
okay. Awesome.
So then we started a band together as well. We have the Marble Fawns, and that's more like a folk project. And hopefully we're going to start recording again soon.
Okay, so then you moved from, you were here at Detroit, then you moved to New York, then you came back. What's the difference in between the cities and their music, you feel like?
I mean...
it seems like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the whole world in between. I don't know, like I said, I couldn't nail down anyone to do this kind of thing. I think it was, I mean, if you'd gone to the Greenwich Village or something and gone to jazz clubs there, but the professionals they don't want to play around,
Very understandable. Okay, so you're going to be performing here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be performing?
Oh, it's the last song on the single, Black Eyed Susan. It's the acoustic song that it's just Steve and I.
You wrote?
Oh, yes, I did write it.
Produced together, actually?
Yeah.
She wrote it, I produced it, yeah.
Oh, great. Great collaboration. Great. So thank you for joining us here on MetroArts. It is a pleasure. Okay? And thank you guys for tuning in to MetroArts, and we're going to get ready for Laura Finlay's performance. And now, here's Laura Finlay.
You've been gone for so long now, remember back when you told me to wait here, you needed a friend. But I ain't gonna worry, not I'm feeling too fine, 'cause a black-eyed Susan said you're gonna be mine. Whoa, whoa, he loves me now. He loves me, loves what we got. I'll be here where the road bends, abiding my time, pulling petals off flowers, chilling on summer wine. But I ain't gonna worry, not I'm feeling too fine, 'cause the black-eyed Susan says you're gonna be mine. Whoa, whoa, he loves me now. He loves me, loves what we got. Well, you won't see much of me when he gets back home, making up for some lost time. I get him alone. No, I ain't gonna worry, not I'm feeling too fine, 'cause the black-eyed what we got.
Hello, I'm Elliot Wilhelm from the Detroit Film Theater, and you're watching Metro Arts on Detroit Public Television.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's show. I'd like to thank our guests, Carollette Phillips, Guy Budziak, Steve Nawara, and Laura Finlay for joining us here today. I'm your host on Metro Arts, Shayna Fields Clark, reminding you to always support the arts in your community.